I had imported a lot of my artwork that I had already up on my Facebook fan page, and I loaded it up into Google Plus, and in one of my albums of caricature speed paints I've done of celebrities, on my one of Danny Trejo, a fellow Plusser happened to look at it and say, boy, I wish I was famous. That's really good. I'm like, why? So you could be painted? And they're like, well, yeah. I'm like, well, I'm just doing this for warm-up. I mean, that's what I did speed painting as warm-up. So I said, I could just paint you. It doesn't make a difference to me, so I'll paint you. Then from that, one of the other people like, oh, can you paint me? And then, it spread from there. One thing led to another, and then I started more formalizing exactly how I was going to attack it once I realized that it was, I kind of got the sense that it was becoming more popular than my more finished pieces at the time. I was never even considering monetizing. It wasn't a thought that even popped into my head. It was other people who kept saying, oh, you should be making money off this. You should be making money off this. You're doing all these free speed paintings. You should. And in my head, I kept thinking, that's like selling the free samples at a food court. For me, the whole point is, A, I'm just practicing. To me, they were just, especially in the beginning, they were just practice. And I still don't charge for the most part. I do not charge for the speed paints. What I charge for is a guarantee of getting one. Because right now, anybody who just says they want to get speed painted, they get thrown in my to be speed painted circle. And when I, have time and I want to start a speed paint hangout, I will open it up, invite that circle first. My goal is to narrow the gap between speed and quality. So I was continuously trying to get faster while keeping the quality relatively the same.
Did they express nervousness when going into this?
All right, there was one guy who was a Kickstarter backer who was extremely nervous about getting in front of a camera. I think he's just normally one of the shy type. So for that, him especially, I knew he was extremely nervous just even getting into the hangout. But he did, and he ended up enjoying the experience. I get anxiety about going to places and doing things, but yet earlier this year, I overcame that and met a whole bunch of people from the site in New York City, and I had a blast, and I can't wait to do it again. Whereas they've had the art groups I know have had similar gallery walks and whatnot in the city that for one reason or another I always made some sort of excuse not to go.
Why do you think you had a different feeling this time?
I think it's mostly because here I was hanging out with these people, so I already knew what they looked like, what they actually looked like, not just based on still photographs. I knew a good chunk of their personalities. So, and having already met somebody who earlier, prior to that, I had met one of the other people who I had known on here in New York City when I had went to visit the Google offices. And I had realized that they were very similar to how they were on here. There was no difference. There are other people, of course, who hang out, but there is this more vocal group who mostly know each other because they've been doing it since the beginning.
Well, there is this sort of idea out in the world that Google Plus is a ghost town, and
yes, the old ghost town Google Plus. It's more like a very active place that takes place on a holodeck. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Star Trek, but and you just never programmed it to show you anything. So you're walking in there, it's empty. You throw the program in, what you want to see, bam, it's there and it's live, and there's so much stuff going on. But unless you actively seek where it is, it's not going to come out and find you. But you got to want to improve. It's not going to magically happen. There's no magic wand that's going to suddenly make you better at what you do. You need to practice. Once you think you're good enough, practice some more. Go look at somebody else. Like me, all it takes is one look at that site for 5 minutes. I realize how crappy I am again. You can't stay in the echo chamber too long. By the same token, when you're trying to market your work, then you go, that's a whole other ball game. Then you want to go to people who think your work is fantastic because they're more likely to buy it. But when you're looking to learn, go to people you consider better. Because you're not going to learn from people worse than you.